Just a warning, this is a manga reader's review, so there might be the occasional spoiler. I will try to warn. I actually can't believe they did the science lab scene, although they at least covered it with pink, because in the manga it looks mighty sus. Anyways, this is a batch of episodes that from volume 2, where the conflict felt very much person versus self. A lot of Ichikawa's battles are within his own personal issues. He thinks too little of himself to truly acknowledge situations or take that step that he wants to, in order to make a closer bond to Yamada that he desires. But there is a part of him that separates him from the other best boys in his category. Even though he creates scenarios in his head where he is the villain or is meant to be ostracized, for some reason his self-esteem is quite high, even if it's when realizing things just a little too late. Meanwhile, for Yamada, it's not much inwards battle, but external battles with herself and her vices. She can't stop snacking, and it affects her time with Ichikawa. She tries to enjoy moments or create scenarios with him, but her own clumsiness or unawareness causes hiccups. With that being said, Ichikawa still manages to be the boy falling up. In every embarrassing situation, there's a plus in showing reliability and trust for Yamada. Although she remains oblivious at times, her attention towards his efforts are never blinded, especially during the entire field trip arc, as well as when he stands up to her about snacks in the library, surprising many on his ability to talk. I also really want to mention again how much I love the OST of this series. There are moments when it really reminds me of Wolf Children's soundtrack. And sort of like Komi, there are times when the animation can really look movie quality, and again, I love the added text near the end of each episode, giving each episode its own field title, as well as moments having very Clannad feelings. And the directing too, with some of these shots just beautifully orchestrated, like the subway split of Ichikawa and Yamada, just enough out of frame to show they were close but you can't see how close. I'm a nerd for that kind of stuff. As for side characters, this definitely helped. Because of her height, I kept getting confused on whether or not it was his older or younger sister so many times when reading. Like, I thought it was funny if she was his younger sister and taller, but then later in the future she's drinking a beer and I'm like, is she joking? So these episodes helped clear that up. We also get to see more of Yamada's friends and their views of her, as well as Ichikawa accidentally forming a friendship with one of the pervs. As far as anime versus manga, the chapters I would prefer on the manga is probably the field trip. Their interactions feel a little cuter, especially with some of the close-ups, just feel a little more intimate, like the liar moment or when Ichikawa gets to see the rough prints and when Yamada holds him by the backpack. While for the anime, I would probably say the rain episode when Yamada goes to get the umbrella wearing Ichikawa's raincoat. Also when Ichikawa saves Yamada from getting caught. Although the manga still has amazing visuals, the music in slow motion definitely adds another level of emotion. For Ichikawa, the ending of episode 6 is him finally accepting defeat and the idea that he's got it wrong and he doesn't actually like her, and that he'll do whatever he can for them to stay together like this. And for Yamada, I mean, she already made a resolve by like episode 5 after the field trip. She's seen all the sides of himself that he hides from others, from the selection process, to his reaction to the pictures, to how he comforted her when they were left behind. She's ready to start taking leaps and chances for him. An enjoyable trio of episodes, all decent throughout, much cuter than I remember in the manga, so that's a plus. Coming up though is what I consider the final conflict of the building of the relationship, person versus person, where Yamada and Ichikawa feel certain ownerships towards each other, and it becomes a battle of flirting and who will make their first move successfully. Because they do make their moves, just not much so successfully. Anyways, that's all for now. Thank you for watching, and go read a book.